When it comes to discipleship, it's very rare that the actual real person that's sitting there at the table shows up. Because it's really hard for us to be transparent with somebody that we might not know very well yet, but we're getting to know through discipleship. So transparency is key for discipleship, but it's also a culture that's created. That's not something that people usually just come and sit down at the table and say, you know what? I'm just gonna tell everybody, I'm struggling with porn right now. I'm really struggling if God's really there for me. Like, we don't really have people, they're far and few between, that really will just put their junk on the table immediately. So as a disciple maker, you've got to create that culture of transparency so that people feel like they can bring the real them to the conversation. The way you do that as a disciple maker is you're transparent yourself. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out and sin and just do something wrong so that you've got a story and you can say, oh man, I looked at porn last night. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you need to set the table where it is okay to share the struggles that you're going through. One great way to do that as a disciple maker is to lead on the other side of victory. I like to really share hardships, things that I've gone through that are real, genuine struggles that I had, but struggles that I've overcome. And so I think that's really important as a disciple maker to set that stage and say, you know what, it's okay to make mistakes because Jesus will walk you through it. And let me tell you how he's done that for me. And when people start to hear you talk about real struggles that has happened, real things that you've had to try to go through and walk through with God, they'll start to open up themselves. I mean, have you ever noticed in a microchurch or a discipleship group setting that it's usually like you're going around for prayer requests and everybody's like, oh, pray for my grandma, pray for my dog, they're sick. Like, it's superficial, pray for this test I'm taking. And then one guy will just drop something really deep and heavy like, hey man, I'm struggling with addiction and I need your prayers because I'm feeling the pull to go back to fill in the blank or whatever that is. Everybody gets real quiet, and then all the other prayer requests, you know what happens? They get real deep as well. Because people almost feel the pull to be transparent because someone else broke the ice. So disciple makers, it's not that hard, but it's very important and it's very strategic that you start the conversation by being transparent yourself. Lead on the other side of victory, share some struggles that you've had, and then share the testimony of how God has walked you through that and how he can do the same for them. And I guarantee that there's going to be a culture of transparency created when you do just that. So this week in your microchurch or your discipleship setting, I want you to think through something that you've gone through, that God has taken you through, that you can share with the rest of the group, and then watch how other people come around with their transparent moments as well. It might take you a week or two or three or four of being the one who's leading the path, but eventually they will come and they will do just that. They will be transparent as you have been transparent.